the design of it's changed a bit as well.
Window.
There you go.
Just go full screen.
There's some music with it, but I'll just kind of talk us through there. I like to do it better this way. So sitting right off the putting green, we've got a sidewalk up to the front door, greeted by what we're calling a multi-purpose room. So indoor putting, some spaces to host larger group activities with our kids or with the public at large, first tee supporters. This takes you out towards the driving range. Deeper, plan to have full simulator technology in there. Then it kind of wraps you back around, a couple of restrooms, a room to our storage door, homework help and tutoring lab, which we're really excited about expanding some of the programs we do to not just include a golf club in the kiddos' hands, but also some other areas of youth development. Office space for our full-time team, our volunteers, our part-time staff, a small kitchen area that kind of sits there behind the reception and lobby area. And then this end of the video will give you a really great view where this sits of what's out there today. So there you've got the edge of the putting green, you've got our existing mats, the range, and then you'll get a good wraparound view of the indoor-outdoor hitting bays. And that fifth door is the storage room. Guessing so. Appeared on me again.
You're gonna have to go up to that window.
There we go. Started to play. I'm going to skip through some of these since we got the video to play. So our exciting news today, a week from today, next Tuesday at 2 p.m., we're breaking ground on this facility. We would love for any of you that are available to come out and join us for a ceremony. We'll have Jesse and some of the Golf Wichita team there. Most of the council is RSVP'd, yes. Mayor Wu is planning to speak at the event. And then we'll do a brief ceremony with some first tee kids and supporters putting the shovels in the dirt for the first time, which we're really excited about. So just kind of an estimated timeline for you. Tomorrow morning, actually, we're planning on installing new sod on the tee box out there. If you've been out there, you've seen that. We also had some winter kill with the Bermuda. That all gets ripped up tomorrow in front of the existing mats. It won't interfere with construction at all, so we're going to go ahead and get that down now. And we're planning to install some zoysia sod tomorrow. The signage and fencing for the project arrives the following day. Next Tuesday, as I stated, is the groundbreaking, and then utility work and earthwork start within that next week. So we're going to be moving pretty quickly after tomorrow. Estimated move-in date right now is an 8-month build, so they projected out beginning of May. We could potentially be in.
Trent, with that going on, is that going to impact the usage of it?
It's not. I'm going to get into that in just a minute too. Yeah, we've got a really good plan. I have some visuals for you as well. Our fundraising update, just a reminder, this is all locally fundraised, not any money coming from city budget or anything like that, just for the record. All individuals, corporations, foundations. As I mentioned, our total goal is a little over 2 million. In the bank received to date, we're over 1.6 with another 296. We're getting really our final goal. 81,000 left before next May, and we've got several sources. We'll probably hit that and more by the time we're moved in, which we're thankful for. Anything up and over will just be used for ongoing programming and facility needs. So to answer your question, here's kind of a quick look at the plan. The red perimeter you see up there is the fence, the construction fencing that will go up. So it will impact a portion of the actual grass tee box in front of the building. We've been on mats for probably over a couple weeks now because there's been a lot of moisture and not a lot of recovery going on out there right now. But the putting green, chipping green, all mats will stay open through the whole process. That red perimeter can be moved a bit. So right now they've kind of got that north gate blocked off. The south gate will remain accessible for public golfers. That can be moved. So for events, for first tee programming, we can lift that and create a drive-through like we normally do. The only thing we'll lose outside of that small area of the tee box are those two spots kind of down there on the bottom left, two parking spots there during the construction process. Ball dispenser and shed will remain right where they're at. That whole process, we're working really close with Jesse, Colin, and Ron over there to make sure everything continues to operate well. Future operations, what this will look like once it's open. Planning to extend those artificial mats over to in front of the building. At a minimum, it would be 5 in front of each door, but the goal is to connect it, which would be more like 8. So we'll go from 12 mats to 20 mats, which will be great. Those things fill up on nice days. We'll have an accessible sidewalk from the parking lot, so no more curved for individuals to step up on. And then I included this image. So planned right now, right on the outside of the building, that box looking thing is where the ball dispenser will now live. So it will be right there on the range. And then we've planned to have a screened off from the street area. You can kind of see it. I don't know if you can see my cursor up there or not. This little area right here is where the current ball washer will live. And we've included some water and power right there for your guys to be able to do what they need to do after balls are picked. And then we'll see obviously additional parking in that lot. If you've come out there, you know it fills pretty quickly on busy days. So we'll eliminate that shed, we'll eliminate the first tee trailer, and all of that will become parking once open. But if there's time, I'll answer any questions I didn't hit. We thank you all for being great partners. We hope to see you next Tuesday, 2 p.m. at MAC for the groundbreaking.
I'm assuming that you're gonna keep that grass tee closed the rest of the year.
I think that's the plan, Jesse, with the sod going down.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how quick the sod takes, and more than likely it would be closed the rest of the year. We'll be on mats.
Did you figure on putting the covers down on it or not? We had discussed that before.
Yeah, we're looking into that. We were really looking at that when we were looking at Bermuda, going Zoysia. We're looking into that, so it's still on the tables. Yeah, Ron's going to put the what do you call it, kind of that netting down over the sod right now, just so people know. Of course, we put 10 feet. They walk 10 feet, get on the back in front of it. So he's going to try to cover all of the new sod so no one disrupts it. But it's going to be should be much better going forward. It's terrible right now. There's no, like he said, there's no recovery. There's hardly any grass. So this would be a big improvement.
Yeah, it's a pretty small tee to take the abuse that it does.
Yep.
The new mats you're putting in, those 5 additionals, are they going to be the same mats as before? Or are you going to have the ones that you can actually get a tee in?
They're the same right now. Yeah, when we installed the current ones, we ordered enough with the planned expansion over. But we hear that feedback a lot. It's really hard to get tees into those right now. There's a couple gentlemen out there that shared some links with me actually today. He was out there right before I came over of some things he's found as a good solution for that. It's kind of a self-standing tee. Haven't talked to Jesse about this, but we might order some of those during this process when everyone's on mats to keep people off the grass, because a lot of times they want to hop up or hop off to the side, just to have there to use and return over the next couple months.
I'm assuming those mats don't have a hole in them for a rubber tee.
No, I mean, that would be another option. We could create that hole and put a rubber tee
Not
in
gonna say drill a hole and put the
Right.
rubber tee up to the bottom. I know they come out with several different lengths of them.
Any other questions?
Any other comments?
I was kind of doing some research today, just looking at just the industry as a whole in junior golf and kind of the direction it's heading. And right now, according to National Golf Foundation, which is kind of the main research group for the industry, 7.2 million junior golfers between the ages of 6 and 17 are playing on course, and that's up 40% since 2019. I feel like this industry finally has started to go in the right direction with some of these things, and that's a big part. A big part of that is groups like First Team and the work that Trent and Corey's not here, but Corey Novascone, he's their programming director. They do just a tremendous job. They're great to work with. We're very fortunate to have this partnership and have something like this coming to one of our facilities. And Marsha, I found some other, as I was looking at that, female junior golfers now make up 36% of junior golf participants. That was 7% in 2010. So that's up, that's a lot. So yeah, I feel like finally starting to figure that out as an industry. So good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, irrigation plan, as you all know, is a big thing, so there's gonna have to be a lot of discussion on this prior to implementation.
Just pulling that up. Yeah, is there anyone that's not up to speed on what happened last Tuesday at the council meeting? Okay, so we were, basically, the city council approved a plan to get all 4 courses done over the next 4, depending on contractors, 4 to 5 years. We'll start at Sim. There is some obligation on our end. I'm working with the contractors now to try to figure out that bid process and move as fast as we can through that. I'm looking to get Sim started this year if possible. That's probably a big ask, but should be a very appealing job to contractors because that course is tight, compact, it's flat, there's no ponds, soil is real sandy, so it's about as easy of a job as they could ask for. So I'm hoping that it will appeal to someone to jump in quick and get it done. But there was one stipulation with this approval is that they wanted us to increase revenue through a rate increase for $200,000 a year. So that's something we don't have to do that until March. I don't want to do that going into the winter. I want to kind of ask if we can do that as we start the season. The course will start to get better. So I wanted to kind of just present some numbers, throw out an idea today just for discussion. We don't have to figure this out right now, but we definitely need to start thinking about it. So kind of breaking down the green fees and the play that we have in 2020, really both years, 2023 and the first half of this year are almost identical. So a green fee play makes up about 48.5%, and then member play is about 51.5%. So it's nearly half and half, a little bit more members. And then when you look at the member play and you do it by class, our adult membership play 14% of our member rounds, couples are 15%. Young adults, 15%, and then seniors are 55% of our member rounds golf, which makes perfect sense. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there so you kind of know the breakdown of how our rounds go throughout the year. And then I'll put together again, this is just somewhere to start. This is not me saying this is what I want to do. This is just something to start at. So if you look at 2023 numbers and you use that to try to figure out how do we get to $200,000 that the council has asked, has come up with. If you did a $2 increase to all green fees across the board, that comes up to just under $164,000 in increased revenue. And then if you do a 2.5 increase to all memberships just across the board, keep it even, that comes out to about 48,000. So that would give us 211,886,000. What that would have been the increased revenue based on 2023. So yeah, we can do this a million different ways. threw something up together just to kind of get to 200,000, but it's a board decision. So I'd like to get any input, any thoughts. Again, we don't have to have the plan finalized right now, but if someone thinks there's a different way it should be done, I'd love to hear.
Can you go back to that last page, please? It is, as far as from last year to this year, it definitely is.
So in 2022, the member play was like 59%. So it's come down a little bit. In 23 this year, been about the same, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess my initial thought is the seniors on the membership side pay the least and play the most. So, I mean, I'm a senior, so I'm not trying to say the seniors should foot all the bill or anything like that. But in my mind, that would be the first place I would look. I mean, I know there's a lot of variables, a lot of seniors are on fixed income, and there's a lot of different things to consider. Another thing somebody brought up to me was, why not make the green fees equal at all the courses? You have one course where they pay more than the other three. Why not say, make that even across the board? Everybody pays X amount, and that's not going to do it either. I understand that, but it's could be some starting points too. But what you had, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I would almost think that we would want to, in theory, generate more than 211, just in case we have some drop off or this or that. You know, if we set a goal for, say, 250 instead of 200, then you've got a little bit of wiggle room still.
Can you go back to the other one?
Sorry.
I have that to look at while you go to the next one.
He's right. Probably you have to look at the seniors membership fee. They seem like they play the most. I don't know if you could do different rate for all week or maybe during the week because it's less busy during the weekends. Maybe we could get more tea times for people to schedule and pay. Seems like it's a hell of a deal for.
Oh, it is.
It is, but you know, are most of them are walking? Are they in a car or not? Or they practicing, spending money on, you know, hitting balls or, and we look at the food and the drinks too and more.
More than a $12 increase across all memberships last year before. And the big comment I got was that affected seniors by percentage more than any. So we went up, and the seniors would tell me we went up what the percentage was. When we look at $12 on a senior rate, it was a much smaller percentage that they went up. That was about the only complaint that I got through that deal. It was quite often. So I can see both sides to that.
I'm a little uncomfortable hitting the seniors again, because I heard a lot of comments about but it affected us more than it did any other group. And now if we're talking about, you know, we're doing a $2 increase to everybody else and a $2.75 to the seniors or whatever. I mean, I don't know what you have in mind, but not going to go well. But I'm concerned about the optics of that.
I have in mind is to listen. I'm saying right now. I just wanted to put something that was kind of even across the board as a starting point and then discuss it. So.
And also what's a green fee comparable to the other courses around here? I mean, like Cheney, like, you know, that people gonna like, you know, say we're not gonna play here, but rather drive to Hidden Lakes and instead of pay $33 versus paying 48 or 50 in Wichita.
I think you gotta be careful when you start comparing rates.
Right? whether or not you're a subsidized entity or whether or not you're revenue entity, just depends on what the classifications are. I mean, you can always go around to some place and find somebody that's $20, but they're getting $20 from their subsidized, so it's hard to say.
You'd have to look at the privately owned public courses, not the, like, if you look at Sand Creek, they are subsidized, so.
Yeah.
If you look at privately owned public courses, safe there.
So I do believe that we'll probably need to study it in the next several meetings, maybe come up with some variables, but I think probably having this discussion and then get it out on the web and all of our information, and so people know it's coming, and let them get some input to you. I mean, we got plenty of input the last time we did it.
Yeah.
More than you want, probably.
Roughly seven months away from
Yeah,
the date this needs to go into effect, so.
I mean, basically, you still got 4 or 5 months, you can get input in regards to it and see what the repercussions possibly are. I mean, I know when you just pop something out there, as the city is seeing in their parking problems now, that, can create all kinds of discussion. So I think that, don't just do it. Let's put it out and have a little discussion amongst the players as you go out and see the very.
I think, and that in terms of, I talked to everybody I know at Willow Bend and everybody I know at Sim, and nobody knew about the vote last week because people just don't pay attention to city government very much.
Yeah.
So I think we need to get that out there and create a positive space.
That signage that we had up trying to promote it, maybe put a sign back up, say, thank you, council.
Yeah.
To it. So, and put a little verbiage in there saying, we realize that we're gonna have to have a little revenue input, but, let's think about it. Something to that effect.
We're trying to get the word out to the golfers. We're not necessarily, but that's the people we want to hear from.
Yeah.
Right.
They're the ones that are going to have to.
I think we definitely need to tie those and make sure that we're approaching from a positive place about, look at this great improvement you're gonna have. Yeah, we have an obligation to do something with it, but I just think we better be sure we start real positively.
Yeah,
When we did the contract for golfers last year, did we eliminate that percent increase that we had in the previous one? Was there a contract deal that we could only
Yes.
increase by 2%?
Yes, we did. We basically changed it where, so if we do a dues increase, we don't have to get all new membership forms, start everybody over again.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, there is, yeah. Yeah, there is.
That was,
I was carrying that last year.
I mean, literally until June of this year, he especially was fighting that every month because he had a whole new crop of people that needed to be switched over. So it'll be a lot easier to do this time around. Yeah.
And it's basically set up where if it's your first year, you still pay like that rate, but then the new rate takes effect the following month after it's approved properly by the city, but the board in this case. So much simpler.
Good.
Yeah, I think golfers need to understand and realize that when Dalton Glasscock amended the first thing that JB brought up, that it is a prerequisite that this money has to be generated in order for all this to happen.
That approval is pending.
I think that's very important that people understand that it's part of the deal.
So how about, I'm on in my head. I could create sign and work on how it's written, that we could put up in the courses. If you guys, between now and the next meeting, talk to as many people as you can. And I would ask that you please go outside of your groups that you play with every day, get some input from other people, as many as you can, and just kind of get that feedback. And then between now and the next meeting, kind of maybe be thinking about some different options on how we could get to this. And then we could get more serious on next meeting on coming up with what the numbers need to look like.
What's the number on range balls? Place to hide some of that would be in range balls, increase range balls and have that go forward and decrease it or try to keep that low.
Yeah, we could do that.
Go up 50 cents and get that little 50-cent clink out of there.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've got a meeting tomorrow, just kind of, since you brought that up with auditing, and I'm gonna try to get it where everything is an even number.
Yeah.
Every sale that we make is an even number. So that's one way we could do that. We did just do the range ball increase, and range balls continue to go up and up and up and up, the cost of range balls. So we increase 50 cents, that may just go to cover the cost of the drivetrains. I'll make a lot off of that, so.
I mean, it seems like we just
That's the
visited.
basic problem you got anyway. So,
Well, true. I'm sorry. what's
So it
that?
just seems like we just, like I remember sitting over here and visiting it last time. What mistakes did we make that we cannot make now? That we look back at what we did and what did we?
biggest mistake we made was hitting the seniors initially. We walked that back and we recreated and hit about everybody, so.
When we did the $12 increase?
Well, when we initially jumped to seniors significantly on our first proposals and then we backed off.
Oh,
We just got to get a little more, I suppose you'd call it equitable, so,
I forgot that happened.
yeah.
Yeah, that was bad. Yep.
Well, I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the memberships, they probably play more golf by just a little bit, but they probably pay less per round than just a normal golfer.
It's always,
Because they play, maybe several times a month or whatever.
But any member pays less than a.
I'm talking about all memberships.
Yeah.
I'm not specifying seniors. I'm saying all members. I think, and that's why they have a membership, is because to them, the numbers make sense. It's not rocket science.
It's such a hard note, because you have some people that play 6 days a week, and somebody that plays twice a month. So it's hard, it's so hard. You try to find that average, but there's so many, so hard to figure out that number that's fair to everybody.
yeah. That's virtually impossible.
Yeah, it is.
Can't be done. So,
From the chart, it shows that seniors plays a lot more.
seniors have the best,
And I'm a senior too, so.
yeah, well,
So
they have the time to play, so that's who's gonna play.
that's
The way it is.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. I think we remember obviously we have to have revenue, very important. We also are municipal golf, and that's kind of the point of municipal golf, is to keep it where it's accessible to as many people as possible. When people start, I don't know, why are you giving any money to the golf system? That's kind of our comeback, is we provide an activity that the citizens can do. They have to pay, but we keep it very affordable as compared to without the municipal courses, they wouldn't be able to play. So I think that's something you have to kind of keep in mind here. I think it's very important.
Is there any wiggle room in our fee that we charge for carts that we can squeeze a little more out of?
We just did that also.
We
We did
everything
it,
went
we
over
did it.
last year, so any sense?
And we could go up on range balls, we could go up on cars, we could do memberships, we could do green fees. It just depends, there's a lot of different areas that we could. It's just how do we want to?
Yeah, are you better off just spread it across the board amongst everything, or just hit green fee side of it or the membership side of it?
I mean, you can entice them to buy more drinks, more food, more stuff will add to the income too, besides that.
I think you're probably better off just a generic rate increase right across the board.
And to fulfill the council's request,
Yeah,
it needs to be something where we can say, this is,
That's what I was gonna say. We need to have a concrete place to point to and say, here's your 200 grand. And have that. And then what we know is that we have some other things that we can do to pad it a little bit, like Randy was saying. and feel more comfortable in case the plan for the 200 doesn't quite make it, then we have other things we can fall back on. But I think we just basically need a rock to point to and say, here's what we were obliged to do. It's right here.
The thing that we're gonna have to remember, when that once they issue these bonds, that's the first thing that comes out. You have to have it now. If you come up short on funds, something else gets cut, that does not get cut. So thinking that, again, going back to our original conversation where I think we need to get a little advertisement out and make sure that people understand that the council has approved this. We do need to supplement the funds and get input from them. And in the meantime, come up with maybe several different scenarios as to how we want to fund it. So, you got till next March to do it. But I think the biggest thing to do is get it out to your constituents here and see what we can come up with.
It'd be a great example to do it on the app. But people know that's what the plan is, and, we probably already did that, but.
We haven't done anything yet, but we definitely will. The app is a huge tool for us. So many people use it.
I mean, they get emails, they get their email and all that stuff. That'd be a great advertisement.
Yeah. Website.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that? I'll come up with the signage for the clubhouses. You guys can talk to as many people as you can. Be thinking of some different scenarios of what makes sense and how we can move forward. And then next meeting, we can start really trying to put some numbers together and plan together. It's dangerous. I could probably come up with some type of survey, kind of a option 1, 2, 3. That gets a little sideways a lot of times. I don't know if that's a good idea. But I would like to hear from as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Well, and the good thing about a survey is it puts it in front of them. They know something's going to happen. So there's no surprises. Anytime we can control surprises, it's a good thing, I think.
And give them as much input as possible.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's just very important that people understand that this comes from the city councils. It's not something that we're wanting to do or whatever. In order to get the irrigation, you have to do this. And I think they have to understand that. And if they know that, I think most of them already know that we need irrigation systems. So
Good with that plan for the next few weeks, and then we can
Yeah, let's go in that direction anyway.
want to dominate our next couple of meetings, which is
Yeah.
good.
I do have some other, in regards to that irrigation, I know that you're planning to set everybody down and discuss what you're gonna do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
We've got to do that first, foremost. Is that when we get down in here, we talk about automated mowing, that's gonna impact what you do with your irrigation potentially. I mean, you gotta have power out there, and if you go to our system, you may not have 110 out there to run automated mowers.
There's a few different options I want to talk about there.
Yeah.
We demoed a few different machines that work a little differently, so we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, it all should tie together. It's I'm glad you said that. As far as the plan for the irrigation, the next step is obviously to get it up for bid, put that bid package together, put it out for bid, and then go from there. What they would do is when the bids come back, we basically bring them in as, it's almost like a job interview where they come and we'll have a panel set up at their proposal. So I would love to have, obviously, as many of you guys that are willing to sit in and help with that choice. That'd be great. But I'm working on packaging that right now. I've made, as soon as I walked out of that meeting, I started making calls to figure out how quick can we do this? Is it realistic to think that it could happen this year? And the two different contractors and architects that I've talked to, irrigation architects I've talked to, said that it's probably 50-50, mainly because that job should be very appealing to contractors.
With the fact that you got 4 of them, and when you talked to them, was there any potential packaging in terms of buying equipment?
I'm reluctant to give a contractor that much power. Say you've got a contract for 4 courses.
Well, no, I'm just saying, a supplier, not a contractor.
Yeah.
I mean, irrigation head's $250, okay, so if you decide, which you probably should, that all 4 systems need to be the same, that doesn't mean the heads are all put the same. It just means that the infrastructure is.
Well, and I think that's good. You thought about that too. I would like to go with whether it's Rainbird or whatever. It is,
All the same.
All the same. So this person can jump right in, same system, same controls. I think it would be not to do it that way. So yeah, we could probably, as far as the supplies, we could probably do
As
that.
contractors, you're gonna bid 4 different bids for contractors. That's just the way it is. I mean, it's.
Could you maybe, just for anybody that might watch this online or whatever, go into a little bit of detail on the meeting and how it went as far as we would get 600K from the park board fund and then there's some CIP money. Then after that, is it bond money that we would use and make payments on? Is that the way Mark Manning explained it? I kind of understood it, but I thought maybe you'd have a better grasp on.
Yeah, that's what you said. There's a fund that has $600,000 a year that would be used for this. There was 500,000 that was transferred to the CIP fund per year. And then, of course, it would be, the rest would be bonded. It would be done with a bond and we would pay the remaining balance. So, and we pay that out over time. And it would really, the way it was explained to me, we really wouldn't be, that bond payment wouldn't be due for a couple of years. And obviously I would love to get ahead and have that money ready to go. But yeah, it all kind of just depends on what the exact that would come from the golf fund. So we definitely are not.
Okay.
We have skin in the game for sure. We're not just getting free money from.
Right, so hypothetically, if SIM costs 1.5 million and 1.1 comes from the city, we're not on the hook for 400K right off the bat for that first system. It goes into a
It'd be prorated over a 10-year or whatever the bond might was.
At the next meeting too, I'll have a lot more info about the contractors and the process, and so I'm still on that. So it's a big project. We're gonna have to have some folks from the city involved, projects and so forth. So try to coordinate all that as fast as I possibly can. See if there's any chance we can get them done right away.
How invasive is that to the golf course as far as, can you shut down like 2 holes and work on those and still have play, or is it?
We'll probably have to close for week, 10 days completely when they do all the main lines and do some stuff. And then after that, it's 1 or 2 holes at a time. It's just for a few days and then do it in segments. So I went through this in Virginia. It was a lot bigger spread out course, and we pretty much did 1 hole at a time. It wasn't nearly as big of a deal as what I thought it was going to be. So it wasn't too bad. And I know I played at Prairie Dunes. So I played at Prairie Dunes here last year, and they had number 17 was shut down the day I was there because it looked like there were 700 people on that forever when we came up to the tee box. I looked, and then I realized there's a big sign that I drove right by that said this hole's closed. So I'm one of those people that don't read the signs that we put up. But yeah, they just had one. Well, it's the same process.
They did Prairie Dunes just out of curiosity. I know they have critter problems up there too. Did they have to put their wire and conduit?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure.
With some of the problems that we have at Sim Park, whether or not that. And if you have to put 110 out there, does it have to go in a separate ditch? I think there's some codes that they're gonna have to really look at. We got caught up in that one time before. city code in terms of putting 110 or above in the same trench that some of it goes, the mains go.
They have to have a separate contract or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend like I want to get people way smarter than me involved in that part of it.
I know gophers eat wires, so.
Could you send us this data?
And I know like at Sim, the plan that we had drawn up was a 2-row system. So in each fairway, there's 2 rows of heads. And then the greens, I know I looked at the first green, there were like 5 or 6 heads around that green.
25 and 6, depending on configuration and the side.
And there's different ways. Again, I'm not the person, but there's different ways. So as we get real serious, we'll really start fine tuning every single head and see if make sure it's your job. So they're gonna make sure there's nothing unnecessary in the.
Normally have 2 quick couplers on a green, one side, one the other side. Don't put a quick coupler in the middle of the front.
I know when JV talked at the council meeting, he brought up some of the points about the new irrigation systems being so specific to putting water only where you need it and water savings. Right now in the drought situation, that's a big deal. And I just wondered if that's anything that we have to kind of show council to afterwards.
Yeah, I've submitted all that to council. I've got a plan that shows the water savings. I mean, at Sim last year, it would have been about 10 million gallons of water that we would have saved. And I think that's conservative, because there were so many times we were trying to get a little bit of water here and this was drenched over here because you can't, it's just a broken system. I mean, it's terrible. And I know Marcia showed up to play and fairways were underwater because it started leaking at 10 o'clock at night. We didn't see it until 5 in the morning. So.
Yeah.
Goes further.
Sorry.
But yeah, the new systems are way, way more efficient, more effective. We can save money on fertilizer and electricity on, well, yeah, back if we do have to turn the water on.
That's a lot of what JV was saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's some now that they read the humidity, they read that they know the rainfall. I mean, they factor all that in to give you the water that you need. I don't know what type of system we would have if it would have all those features, but they exist.
So, I mean, when you get to the modern stuff, you can pump your fertilizer through it, you can fungicides through it, you can do a lot of things. I mean, they're pretty adept at doing a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah. Any other irrigation questions for now? Yeah, well, if you guys can, I guess, just help me out with talking to people and be thinking about this before the next meeting, I'll get the signage and forward next meeting with try to start really getting a concrete plan in place.
Continuation of prior business. I have not, unfortunately, got a chance to go out and look at that other automated mower out there yet. So how's it doing?
That one out at Auburn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it out there today. I think it's doing a good job in the areas that they have it around that practice screen, and it was actually going over by 18 green today and doing over there.
You can't tell.
They look nice lines too. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, aesthetically, it looks good. It's cutting the rough.
You can't tell they're doing anything because they cut it so often. You know, I don't let it grow up in between mows, so it looks like it's not doing anything, but it's looked good every day I've been out there. So
Is there 2 of them or just one?
just one at Auburn. And we're doing, like you said, the putting green and up towards, we have it 18.
18 green, yeah.
We have at Sim, we had one there. They came and picked it up, dropped off 2 different ones. So we've had 3 different types of mowers of the automated mowers out just to test them out and see. I was hoping to have this meeting before today, but they couldn't meet. So next Monday, I'm meeting with 2 different companies. And Mike, if you want to hop in those meetings, I'll send those to you. There's pros and cons with each one. So this is kind of just an update of where we stand on that. The first one we had at Sim, you would have to have electricity and a receiver, like a satellite for each unit. So you'd have to have 19, 22 satellites all over the course for these. They have another option that works strictly off cellular. So it has basically a SIM card built into it and it goes off cellular power or cellular signal. The problem there is if it loses signal, it can mess it up. It kind of throws it off. You have to go reset it. Cell phones lose signal quite a bit. So, and then the other option is some type of, there's some towers across town that it pulls off of those and it do about a 30-mile radius, and we're in that range. They're a little bit more expensive, but it eliminates a lot of extra stuff on the course, and they do, we wouldn't need as many because they can go back farther to their charging station. So not much of an update other than I'm still gathering. We've demoed them out. They all, as far as mowing, they all did a really good job. We're just trying to figure out what makes the most sense, what fits the needs that we have. And then of course the price and I'm going to work on that on Monday.
Are there any of them that charge per solar panel as opposed to having to have the 110 out there?
Not that I'm aware, there may be a way where you could place a solar power beside the charging station and pull that service, or I don't know how that works. Yeah.
Curious.
I haven't seen any of the ones we're demoing, but are they the ones that are about the size of a push mower or?
Yeah, the first one we had at Sim was, yeah, it was this one. It's pretty small. I could literally pick it up with one hand. The one at Auburn is a little bit bigger. It's not much. It's a little bit bigger. And then the ones that we have at Sim right now are about the same size as Auburn. So it's three and a half.
I was just curious because I was at Reflection last Friday or sometime like that, and they have a pretty good size to it. I'm going to say probably as big as I can stretch.
They have the bigger version of the one we have at Auburn, from what I understand. I haven't seen it, but I talked to the rep about that. Again, my only concern is that.
Seems like this one would be a lot harder for me to pick up and throw in my car. Saying.
Is there a huge difference price wise, do you know, or?
It's hard to get answers. They keep saying, we would have to see if you like it, then we'll draw up a plan. I'll get back. So I'm kind of in that stage. I think they all have some built-in wiggle room at their prices, so we can negotiate a little bit, I think. So once they fully understand that it goes for bid and we're taking if you meet the specs, we take the lowest bid. I think we really find out price wise. So no definite information for today, but I just wanted to make sure you were aware that we're still working on it.
Does it come as a service or do we just buy them?
We just bought them.
We pay for maintenance.
There's a very small fee as it comes. I mean, there's an app that you can control 1,000 different things on this app, and that service is 1,000 a year or something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but there's a small fee for like an annual fee for that service. But I think somebody said last time, it's better than benefits and vacation time.
We perform our own maintenance. We perform our own maintenance on
Right. And there is warranty if something major happened, but the regular maintenance is extremely simple. Yeah.
Put the brain in it.
If the brain goes bad.
Yeah.
Jesse, you said something about the mechanic position.
Yeah, we posted it internally. We have to do that, since it's a union represented position. We had no applicants. It went out yesterday externally. So as soon as it's open for anyone to apply now, so you can find it online. So if you know anyone that would be interested, that rowing mechanic position is open right now.
If they, I know, put that, maybe have them post that on the GCSAA's employment, because they've got a certified now where they certify golf course.
Spoke with Ron about that today. He's out today and tomorrow for some reason. So when he gets back, we'll get that posted. They'll still be
Okay.
8-9 days.
That's probably where you might find your best candidate. I don't know. So,
He's pretty good about getting stuff on that website. So I'll
okay.
take care of that. Okay. Anything else with?
Any further questions? All right, let's move on to see if we're making any money.
Look,
This is Mike's first meeting. I think he's probably getting bored here. I don't know.
good. On the clubhouse at like 7 this morning, you were already there, so you already had a long day. So this goes through July, which a bit over half of the year. So looking at Browns, of course, we were closed at Tex for a while. Auburn Hills slightly leading the way so far this year by about 400 rounds, but all the courses are pretty close, even with Tex being closed. They got off to a really quick start and then we were shut down, but overall, pretty happy. Auburn's right there with last year, and we've had several more rain days this year. We had none last year, so keeping that in mind, be happy with where we're at. We're at 109 compared to 117 last year, and I think by the end of the year, whether if we have a decent start to the winter, I think we're all just we'd have already blown that away. Looking at July by itself, we really close to last year, 22,000 versus 23 and a half. So Auburn led July. All of them are right there, Tex and Sim were really close. Back right behind them. Cart rentals, we are at 739,000. Last year we were at 817. Yeah, no revenue at Tex for nearly a month. So kind of one of those deals of all things considered, we're down slightly, but all things considered, I'm where we stand with all the challenges that plus without being able to take credit cards for the month before we close for a month. Food and beverage, we are really close. This is really starting to take off. It's been offering a lot of new things that Mac, I'm dying to see what Mac is going to look like food and beverage for August. Where they started doing a lot of new stuff and they can't make it fast enough. Walk in the clubhouse and it smells a lot different now. It smells like there's something going on back there. So it's starting to take off. And then as we get Trevor on board, we'll start creating new signage and marketing and all that stuff. So it's coming together. You know what? Oh, sorry. During the announcements, I was going to introduce you. And so another big addition, our food and beverage seat on our golf board has been vacant for a while. So we got Mr. Stefan that's here. If you don't mind, since we're on the F&B slide, if you can give just a quick little background about yourself.
I've been living in Wichita for 46 years. I've been in the restaurant industry, several restaurants from fast food to fine dining to wine bars. So, a lot of experience in that industry. And I play a lot of golf.
So very excited to have him on board, get his input. I probably will be a lot over the next few weeks because this is one area that did all the build outs and everything, changed all the kitchens over the last year or more, and then really wanting to take off here. So looking forward definitely to getting your input and working on getting this to the next level. Driving ranges are out of control. We're up at every place quite a bit, 120% up from last year, 120% from where we were at last year. Merchandise sales, we are still buying stuff. Tex is even up, even though they were closed. We sold a lot more clubs due to the simulator this year. Auburn over last year, we're slowly getting rid of the merchandise there, making room for Michael. We do have a plan to start really pushing that stuff through the end of the year so he can start in the spring with a fresh slate, and he's not trying to compete with the city for merchandise sales. So we'll start kind of putting that plan into motion in September. Total revenue, we are somehow with cyber attack and with the course being closed, we are $61,000 up over last year. On the revenue side and our expenses, I haven't gotten the report finance yet before this meeting, but our expenses are down from last year. So we're in a better spot somehow than what we were last year. The only works that's really losing money is Auburn. I don't know what. I'll let them explain that in a minute. Tax, of course, is down because of the closure, but all in all, we're at just under $4 million. This is just through the end of July, remember? So this month, as of today, we were at $523,000 for the month when I left. So hanging on for dear life, but we're still getting it done. And then looking at the fund balances, we the general overall project fund was that's not changed. It's still $9,000. The cart fund, again, it's hard for me to get a specific number because it changes every day with the cart rental, and it takes a while for those funds to be transferred, but it's around a little over $500,000. Continues to go up with revenue and down with cart payments, so it's okay. The equipment fund is roughly 70,000. Same with that. Every green fee puts money into that, so it's really hard again to give you an exact number. The clubhouse renovation fund still has about $66,000. We did have some issues at a couple of the courses, the air conditioner at Auburn, the ice machine at Auburn, a couple of things. The ice machine will be different. The air conditioner, I'll probably use a little bit out of that. But all in all, it's really been untouched for a few months now. And then the grounds fund still has 88,000. That's after we did the cart path. So a lot's changed. We haven't spent much money over the last few months, so that part's good.
There's a big reason for that little extra money is can't seem to find help or what.
We do have some vacancies, so we definitely saved a little bit there, not so much intentionally, but did a lot of repairs the last few years and fixed a lot of things that we haven't had to spend money on this year. That's helped a lot. I would say it's a mixture of a lot of little things on the expense side, more than the revenue side, that we just kind of tweaked and changed and found ways to save a little money here and there.
These numbers that we've got here on the board, then apparently we still, that's outside of the million in reserve.
Actually, did have about $1.5 million in the general fund, right? The end of the year, anything over $1 million will be put into this general project fund.
So when you talked about some of the merchandising earlier, is that all taken care of with Scott and stuff? Is that a done deal?
He's been, the bulk of that has been paid. There's a couple of little tweaks that we're working through, but it's, yeah, he's received 98% of.
That's, I mean, that's a chunk of money there too that you have to consider has gone out.
But all the merchandise that we've sold that we wouldn't have got last year, so it's, we've almost recouped.
Be a wash.
Yeah. 90,000 out of 120 so far.
So the clubhouse fund was originally intended for the renovations, and the renovations are pretty close to done. Same with the grounds fund. It was mostly allocated for cart paths.
We created that fund just for any projects that we want to do on the course.
So good segue to my question, which is, do we have specific projects still that were gonna come out of those two?
Yeah, so this irrigation has put everything on hold. So there's a lot of projects that I didn't want to get too leads with until I knew the irrigation funding.
Gotcha.
Right now, there's a lot of projects. At SIM, irrigation is number one. That's it. At MAC, there's a bunker project I really want to do. I want to give an update on MAC in a minute, talk about that a little bit, but we have 65 or 69 bunkers at MAC right now. I want to eliminate about 30 of those bunkers. There's so many that are, and I went over this with Robert, we looked at it. There's so many of those bunkers that are either out of play that we haven't maintained, or there's like a bunker and then a bunker and then the green. Well, somebody hits in that bunker, they chunk it to the next bunker. They are scared of doing that again, so they blade it over the green. And it slows down play. Yeah. Let's put one good bunker right there. It would just cut the amount of maintenance that bunkers are a nightmare for golf courses, for superintendents. So eliminate some of those and clean them up, give it a fresh look. We are going to overseed. Again, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. So I really expect that in the late into this fall and early winter is going to be the best it's looked in a long time.
Okay, thanks.
I mean, of course, every course has some projects that you want to do.
Yeah, you got it. In terms of that, I mean, Jesse's right. They need to do the bunkers out there, but we still haven't done anything addressing artificial tees at Auburn and Pony Prairie.
Right.
We haven't done anything. We still got to look at eliminating trees on the golf course. I know Jesse's trying to work with the city and the forestry department to try to alleviate some of those problems.
Said they were over 1,000 tickets behind.
Well, I can believe that because we keep adding them every day at the courses. So, I mean, the drought has been going on so long, the overall tree population has taken a pretty bad hit. So,
Realize living here, we don't just have rain, we have storms.
yeah.
Used to just get a little rain, no big deal, but
You just, for your own thought processes, think about what you think needs to be done so we can sit down and look at all the overall, what we got versus potentially what we have for funding and knowing that we need to supply irrigation money. So
what I would like to do is get maybe the end of October, get a true picture of where we're at for this year. Expect a lot of surprises November and December, so we could really look at that and then kind of look at getting some projects lined up for the spring.
Yeah.
And we can breathe too. Staff right now, they can't do a project.
Yeah.
Everybody just went back to school, so both inside and outside, half the staff just left last week out of nowhere, so. Okay. Other questions with the finance?
All right. Auburn Hills.
Come up there.
Yeah, rework. Anyone not met Michael yet?
Marshall.
Oh,
Okay, Marshall. And I'm at a lot just now.
Okay.
So where are these pictures at? Scan through.
Yeah, do you want to start with that, or do you want to talk about kind of some of the other stuff?
So I've been here just about a month now. A lot of areas have had my attention, but two main areas of focus that I've really been looking at is improving communication with the team overall. So, and that's gone really well so far. And then a lot of cleanup. Auburn Hills, for whatever reason, over the years has collected a lot of stuff, right? So whether it was storage closets or down in the car barn, we've started organizing areas and getting rid of a lot of useless things that we don't need and making room and really cleaning it up. So that's really kind of the first month what we've been focusing on. As far as course conditions, I know Dalton's been short. I don't know what the situation is with the other courses, but he's been short on help, and there's been some areas that have needed a little bit of work that he's really started to get to lately. So a lot of areas that had some overgrowth around ponds and certain car paths and stuff like that, he's really started to tackle over the last couple of weeks, so it looks better. There's been one particular project we've been working on in a new outdoor seating area. There's on the back side of Auburn's clubhouse, it's kind of by the banquet area. There's just an empty space that was unused, and it's by the cart return, and people would pull their carts in there, and it just ended up, looking bad at that point. But it's just an unused space. So with Randy's help and Jesse's help as well, we put some nice tables and chairs in that area, and built a couple of walls to kind of bracket it in, and some steps that lead from the actual patio down to this lower level patio, and it's starting to look really, really nice. So
Hit the right arrow and you can show. Just hit the right arrow on the keyboard.
I don't know about that.
anyway, so you can see here these two walls here are what Randy and Jeff Van, one of our other members, have worked hard doing. Jeff has a masonry business, so he's been pretty helpful with that. Those tables and chairs are
Mostly
all leather, so they'll last forever. And the steps right there that they've worked on. So this space, that whole space right there was just completely unused, and now it looks a lot better. You can overlook the pond there at 10th hole. So,
And Michael and I put those tables and chairs together with a little kid socket set. That was fun.
yeah,
About 30,000 turns per ball.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we have high school starting practice with Mays South, Eisenhower. The 19th yesterday started that, and then Newman University and Friends University too. So we've seen a little bit uptick in people being around in the afternoons, but overall the demand at Auburn Hills has been really high. So I've enjoyed it.
Have any questions for?
Jesse,
Thank
did you ever find out anything on the soil samples?
I meant to reach out to Dalton today. I've not. Anything to you about it?
Not yet. I know that he said that he sent them off, but I haven't heard an update.
Sampling for,
Verify on 18 where we have so many.
oh, we're well, progress,
Figure out what's the root cause of.
Yeah,
so to speak, yeah.
that one is about 75% worse than any other spot on the course for whatever.
Been always, I mean, I don't remember any time 18 was.
When the Bermuda grass was going.
Your response. I don't know. I'll see if he responds on that real quick, but any other Auburn Hill related questions? Yeah, I'll just kind of go through these quick. If not, we are, our marketing budget, we basically have not used at all this year. It's hard to find something to market when the courses struggled like they did and the demand is so high. I mean, we can't take a lot more business. So out on the golf courses. So marketing budget's been untapped. So we're looking at basic signage on the outsides of the buildings right now. There are certain Google something, they won't even recognize us as a business because it's not marked anywhere on the building. So we can't, there's certain things that I didn't realize that keeps us from being able to do. But just to kind of make them look a little bit better, it won't be a big expense, but I'm looking, we did some walkthroughs today to come up with some ideas. So I'm looking at getting some quotes back on that tomorrow. At Sim, as I said, it's irrigation. That's all it matters right now. So that's not a lot of anything.
Getting bays.
I just talked to him, so he made me look like an idiot. I got ahold of him about putting those poles in the ground. I spent trying to figure out, called the company to make sure there's nothing there. And he calls me and says, "Are you sure those go in the ground?" Because I'm looking at it. I don't think they do. They don't. So I've spent all this time thinking that I had to somehow get these giant poles in the ground. They don't go in the ground. So that will be much easier than expected now. So we can go forward. Yeah. I talked to so many different companies, and one of the companies I talked to, the first phone call, he was talking about the size of the pole, and he said because of the wind, Kansas, you want the bigger, and he said it needs to go 2 to 3 feet in the ground. So that was in my head. That's all I was thinking, and this is a different kind of deal. So at McDonald's, I mentioned earlier we are going to oversee with Bri, probably looking at mid-September, kind of watch the weather and see where that's at. But we're going to do all the fairways, the tee boxes, and the spots in the rough that need it. So over the winter, should be awesome. Coming into the spring, it should come out great. So I'm excited to see. I know it's not been anywhere near where we wanted it this year, so I'm really tried to do the seed that didn't take. So I'm really excited to get that down and see solid conditions all across that golf course. And then the bunker project I mentioned, I'm going to kind of work with that again, and I'll bring that as a presentation for the next board meeting to see if that's something we want to pursue. We got, I don't remember the number, but we got an initial estimate if we just hired somebody, outsourced it all. But as we started going through that, there's a lot of things that we could do in-house. We could do some of the contracts that we have through the city to get some of the supplies cheaper than what was part of that. So I want to redo that to cut that cost as much as possible, and I'll bring that next meeting. At Tex, it continues to improve. The fairways are, it's, again, I can't believe where they're at right now compared to last year, or compared to 2 months ago. Got some really big events coming up. I want to move one of the beverage carts from Auburn over there to Tex for this weekend. They have a huge tournament. They've got another one 2 weeks from now. So some really big tournaments coming in. Things going pretty well there now that they're kind of back to normal. No, it's really, I mean, nothing crazy. Again, everything's kind of been on hold until we figure out where we're at. Do something. So, what? Any other questions, topics, anything else you guys want to discuss?
Comment, I think I hadn't been able to play much because it's been too hot. So, I did manage to play Sims last week. I saw where he sprayed a lot of the knotweed was going down. And it appeared to me like it spread some Bermuda more than I had anticipated.
For the 4 holes that I saw in the rain today, I would agree with you.
So,
What did Bermuda?
what's that?
What did Bermuda?
The Bermuda was spreading on its own. It was getting better, but he had sprayed knotweed, which took the competition away from some of it, which would allow the Bermuda to move better. But
I thought it looked better today than I've seen it in several weeks.
so
2 holes earlier today, and it's hard when you look at it every day. It's hard to see, but it's been a couple since I looked, and I can tell the
I
difference.
think that's true. I've been out of town the last 2 Tuesdays for Ladies' Day, and all of a sudden today it looked better. So
that's just an offhand comment that I thought it was improving. And I got one other question real quick in regards to Bermuda grass. They're going to raise their mowers pretty soon. You might ask them to see what the status of that is, so we can get a little fuzz on top of that before they quit growing.
That's on that meeting we have next Thursday is an all staff meeting. It's got superintendents. I want to do all staff and then pros and then superintendents kind of divide off. That's part of it. Kind of get their plans for the next couple months.
The only other thing I might ask about is whether or not, and I want to oversee McDonald Park, always did, but is that going to be okay in regards to the water problems that they have in the city right now, or is that going to cause a problem there? Or?
Now the ponds are full, like they're full to the top. So obviously, when we start using it, it'll.
I know they put an exemption on for some golf courses and stuff, and the Wichita Country Club's obviously like we are, they're bringing in greens, so you're going to see water head out.
Wichita Country Club is 100% city water too.
Yeah.
We've barely tapped into city water this year.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we've got some spread. I mean, they weren't huge rains or anything, but enough to impact the streets over there that feed that pond. So, all right, just
I
curious.
took a picture. I should have brought it up here. I took a picture at back on 17, the end of last week. I was looking at other stuff. I drove by the tee box, kind of glanced over, turned back around, like it's a perfect picture. And it looks, the pond's right up to the top. It looks awesome. Then I figured out on my phone to change the sky to different things, so it looks like pretty neat. I sat on that tee block for 15 minutes playing on my phone. But it looked really good.
All right. Any
With
other
the water
comments?
restrictions, is that gonna impact McDonald's at all?
That
Wichita water restrictions?
affect McDonald's? Not at this time. No, we're already, so there's phase 1, phase 2, the drought plan, phase 3, hopefully we never get to. We've already been operating in phase 2 for a while now. So we're down 54% water usage since 2022. We were already anticipating that was coming. So we've already been in phase 2. So nothing will change for back. Yep. Dalton said he has not heard. He's going to call tomorrow. He's not got the results from it back. I don't know how long it normally takes, but.
being totally ignorant of this kind of thing.
That's how sweet, yeah.
How late in the year can somebody start working on the irrigation system? What's the drop dead date this year that they then would have to wait till spring, or can they do them in the winter?
The style of system that we're putting in is that high density polyethylene, and it's actually electrically welded. There is no solvent that goes into that. So you can put that in the wintertime.
they could transfer the fiber plow, or how do they get that in?
Both ways.
Share one more stat I found earlier. In 2023, there were 3.4 million golfers that played on a golf course for the first time. That was the record. The second biggest year was in the year 2000 during Tiger's era. It was 2.4. So 2.4 was the record. It's 3.4 last year. That's where golf is right now. There's no slowdown. Yeah. Everybody's worried, when's this going to end, but it just keeps going. So
You say our tee sheets are pretty full most of the time?
All the time.
all the time. And
Didn't
the
we talk
demand.
about that software that was gonna let us know when somebody drops
Yeah.
time and
so
broadcast email?
turns out the software that we use, the CPS, the POS and T-sheet system we use, and the Gallus Golf app, which we use. If you have both of those, they have a program that does the same thing.
That does a broadcast email to say, here's a tea time.
That's included. So when you go to book your tee time, if it's not there, there's another spot on that booking window where it says, do you want to be on a wait list? You say, notify me if there's a tee time at this course between this time and this time. Someone cancels, boom, it sends a text.
So it's there right now.
We have
'Cause
initiated.
I had a couple of gals at Sim today that were saying, gee, I wish we could play on Friday, but everything's full. And I
Yep.
said, I think you should be able to get on a wait list, but I don't know how it happens.
The cyber attack obviously jacked all that up. We couldn't change anything.
Sure.
And then there was a huge update after that. We switched to if you notice the T-sheet booking system changed online.
It looked different. They just couldn't figure out where.
It's different. So we're kind of working out bugs one step at a time. So we have started the conversation with Rich to get that going. So I would say sometime before the next meeting, that will be in place.
So that's a marketing point we could use too, to
Yes.
positive things up.
Yeah, the only really complaint I get is I can't ever get a tee time, and I get that every day, all day.
Oh, yeah.
All these guys get it. It's unreal. There's people that are convinced that we give early access to some
Oh, yeah.
people's accounts, and that's impossible.
I heard it this morning.
I mean, I get 100 people call me and tell me I'm up at 5 o'clock and I can't get a tee time. I'm like, you're the 100th person this week that's told me that.
I don't know how to answer that question.
They don't believe that there's that much demand, and there is.
Curiosity, school started. You see a little drop off or not?
Well, yeah, in the afternoons. Yeah, it's slow. And every year there's about a week or two and then it starts to go back up.
Any further business?
Every business, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I would
On my airplane, that's all.
entertain a motion for adjournment.
Done.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Oh. Everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
Not gonna start sometimes.